Well, hi VC, Uncle Rodis back again. Been away for a week, last week, out of town, and managed to catch up with a few vids that were posted over the time, but I haven't had a look at all of them. But anyway, good day today. All Blacks absolutely trounced France in their first quarter final of the Rugby World Cup, so we're looking pretty hot at the moment. Ben, I'm looking forward to watching the Irish beat the Argentinians hopefully tomorrow morning. So good luck there, mate, and we might see you in the final. You never know if you can get past the Aussies next week. But anyway, we've got South Africa to tangle with next week as well. So I'm not talking vinyl today. I'm actually going to talk about some CDs, because we all like to show off our collections and talk about some of the cool stuff we have. And I have quite a lot of box sets, CD collection box sets, various artists' CDs, and box set collections of particular artists. So I'm just going to whip through and show off some of my collection. One I've had for quite some time, Jimi Hendrix stages, 4 live concerts from the years printed on the corners of the box. These are Stockholm, Paris, San Diego and Atlanta. So a CD for each concert. Quality wise, they're not the best, they're better than bootlegs, but they're not strongly audiophile quality, and I haven't actually listened to it for quite some time, hence the dust on the cover. Probably quite a rare box set nowadays actually, as I've had that for quite some time. I'm a big fan of the 1960s garage and psychedelic stuff. There's thousands of compilations available. Back in the early days when I was first getting into this stuff, I had the Rubble collection. I had quite a few of these on vinyl. This is volumes 1 to 10. Unfortunately, the second volumes box set of volumes 11 to 20 are very difficult to find on CD. And this is Fallout Box 001, but I can't remember the name of the label that they were originally on, but mostly British stuff, but there's some really fantastic tracks on here. 10 CDs, absolutely essential for 60s psychedelic collectors. Johnny Cash, and a lot of people will know that Johnny Cash put out the American recordings from about 1993 through to his death in 2003, and there was something like 5 volumes, I think, from memory, 6 volumes. That one came out after he died, but just after he died from memory, this came out. This is called Cash Unearthed. This is a 5 CD box set of outtakes from the Unearthed series, and there is some absolutely stunning music on there. A lot of collaborations. There's a really cool Joe Strummer collaboration that he did with Redemption Song, Bob Marley's Redemption Song. So a lot of covers. If you're not familiar, he took a lot of songs from the American Songbook and modern and older ones and interpreted them in his own unique way. And I was always a fan of Johnny Cash, but not big fan. But these really just pushed me up there, and this is an awesome set. The only downside was that the 5th CD was just a collection of the best off the actual CDs that had already been released, so there was no new stuff, but there's a whole CD of unreleased stuff of his hymns music, his mother's hymn book I think it was called, which he did from songs that he was familiar with when he was a kid and from his mother, and stuff like that, because he was quite a religious man, Christian man. So that was one aspect of him that he didn't actually release a lot of music about, but there's a CD of that on here, and then the rest of the 3D CDs are all the other outtakes, and there's some pretty fantastic stuff that didn't make it onto the record. So if you don't have this and you're a fan of Johnny Cash, I highly recommend it. Band that I was into, again, I had most of their records way back in the day, bit different, Bong Water. They were out of New York on the Shimmy Disc label. They had something like about 5 CDs, which are all collected on this box set. Another one I haven't listened to for quite a while. But yeah, no, something a little bit different. Excuse me. the other year or 4 or 5 years ago, I discovered the music of Fela Kuti, and I know I was familiar with his name, but not his music, and was thinking, had heard some stuff and downloaded some stuff and was quite keen to get some of his music, but he has a pretty big discography, and there was not a lot available in New Zealand at that time. There's the odd reissue that pops up on CD. I think Knitting Factory did a whole bunch of reissues not that long ago, but an outfit called RAS, is it RAS Records, put out this 26 CDs, 26 CDs and a DVD, and it was a fantastically good price, and it covers right back through to very early days in the mid-60s, Fela Kuti's and his Kula Lobitos band, which are highlights. And then we skip ahead to 1969 when he did the first of his Afrobeat stuff, which was actually recorded in the US. Big influence, largely influenced by James Brown. And so each of the CDs, there's basically 2 albums to most of these discs. So with 26 discs, we're getting up nearly 50 of his albums, which covers a fair bit of his discography. There are a few missing, but all the earlier stuff is there, and I mean it's just, yeah, so each one's in its own little slide-in sleeve with the original looking artwork, and I'm not going to show all of those, but this is a fantastic box set, and the music, I mean Fela Kuti's music is just absolutely outstanding. He's like the Bob Marley of African music to me. He's just awesome. Highly recommended. This one here is actually quite hard to get your hands on nowadays, but I found this on the internet and downloaded it and had a listen to it. So if you're into progressive music and 70s rock, experimental rock, this is essential. There are 4 CDs and track listing, and then write-ups on all of the bands inside there. And most of the stuff is pretty rare and not easy to find on vinyl. There has been some reissues. There was a band called Life, whose song "Sailing in the Sunshine," I think from memory, is called, where is it? Yes, "Sailing in the Sunshine" by a band called Life was one of my favourites off this, and they actually had a reissue on CD and possibly on vinyl. So I will be keeping my eye out for some of that stuff on vinyl, but it's very unlikely I'm going to find it in New Zealand. So back into the 60s now, I have all of the Nugget series except for the third volume, I think it was, which was kind of more 80s stuff, but they went back again to the 60s for this. So this is Love Is the Song We Sing, San Francisco Nuggets 65 to 1970. So there's some really good stuff. This is a bit more mainstream than the original Nugget Garage compilations they had the first Nuggets, which was all American Garage, and then they did the second volume, which was more stuff from around the world and a bit more psychedelic. But this has got, you know, a lot of stuff on it. The Charlatans, Warlocks, which I think from memory were the original Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, of course, stuff like that. The Great Society, so Janis Joplin is on it. Sons of Champlin, they're really cool. I like them. They're a good band to look out for. Sopwith Camel, Country Joe and the Fish. So quite a few rarer ones that I wasn't familiar with, but a lot of stuff that I was familiar with. So it's a bit of a mix, but it's all very good. It's great, and it's a fabulous book you get. So there's, again, you got your write-up on all of your bands, then you've got your CDs in the back, sitting in the back here. So pretty cool packaging, and definitely a great thing. Over the years, I've collected a few of the rare, groovy, funky stuff from the 70s, the ultra rare stuff, and compilations that people have put together. This one is quite a cool one, and it's quite a cool box. So there's 4 CDs in this one. It's got its booklet. It's got a nice booklet there. Again, it's got a write-up on all of the bands. most of them pretty obscure. There's the occasional, there's a Little Richard track on one of these. He did a bit of his, yeah, there he is. He's actually on the cover of CD3, right there. Yeah, so he did some stuff. The Commodores, that's very early Commodores. Yeah, it's not the best funk compilation I've got, but it's pretty cool if you're into that sort of music. So what it is, it's called Funky Soul and Rare Groove. Yeah, so late 60s, 67 to 77, there it is. So that's the time it's covering. So that's another pretty cool box set. And then we've got there's a Bob Dylan box set. So these are the bootleg series things, and these are coming out now in very good packaging. They used to just be standard CDs, but now they're much better packaging. So pretty cool. I like the way that they've done the old Scotch. And then you've got your CDs inside there. Again in the back. So this one here is volume 11, and you've got a book of photographs here. Complete basement tapes. This is pretty much everything from the basement tapes that they could salvage that was listenable and releasable. There was a few that weren't. So it's pretty cool. There is one disc that's, the quality wise, is I think the last disc is pretty bad. If you're into really audiophile, it's not that great, but if you're a Dylanologist or whatever, then pretty cool. But and then of course the one that came out before that was volume 10, and again this is another, it's got 4 discs in it. So it's got the original self-portrait disc. It's got a live set from the Isle of Wight in 1969, and then it's got 2 discs of outtakes from self-portrait and some live stuff and some stuff from New Morning mostly, and the odd Nashville Skyline, so all around that period. Yeah, this is really good, and I actually like Self-Portrait, the album itself. I actually like it more so than the reviews it got. It was pretty much trashed at the time. So this is actually quite cool. If you're again, if you're a big Dylan fan, you've probably already got it. I've shown this one before, but this is pretty rare. TG24, 24 hours of throbbing gristle, 24 CDs, 60-minute CDs, live concerts that they recorded from the late 70s and very early 80s before they disbanded. Pretty rare, limited edition. Then I picked this one up for a nice bargain a few years ago at my local CD shop, way before the earthquakes and before they used to be called Echo Records in those days, and then they got bought up by another chain, and then they went under after the earthquakes. But this is 15 CDs, compilation of Chess Records, so it covers a wide range of music, but a lot of blues classics on here, Muddy Waters, Howling Wolf, some of the other guys that were there. 13 CDs plus a CD interview and a CD-ROM, which I've never actually looked at. But yeah, happy to have this. There's some great stuff on it, and the quality is really good too. And another overview of a record label is Ahuli. This is their 40th anniversary collection from 2000. So they started in 1960. This is 5 CDs. So there's some really good stuff on here. A lot of blues, of course. Ahuli specialised in blues and Cajun music, which I'm not a particularly big fan of, but there's also some other stuff, some bit of gospel-y type stuff, and some what they call steel guitar music. There was some quite good, different, interesting tracks. So it's not particularly chronological, I don't think, from memory, but it covers some pretty good stuff, some pretty obscure stuff, and some pretty backyard stuff actually. Again, because Chris Strowitz, the guy who started it, he used to travel around with a tape recorder recording obscure artists and hillbillies and things like that, so bit of that on there as well. But yeah, I like their Holy, and I'm going to be looking out for some of their blues albums, which I used to have a few of on vinyl, so I'll keep my eyes open for some of those again, and if any turn up I'll be purchasing them. Anyway, and finally we have a collection of Sun Ra box sets. Now, there was a label called Transparency Records, and this is just some of what they put out. First of all, there's this one here. the it's called Sun Ra Eternal Myth Revealed Volume 1. So what this is a compilation. There is 14 CDs on this set, with narration by a guy called, what's his name again? I'm trying to remember it. Michael Anderson, who played in the band back in the orchestra back in the 70s, and has become a bit of an archive guru for Sun Ra music. So he put this together. He narrates it as in like a DJ. There's snippets of interviews with Sun Ra, and there's a whole lot of music going right back to the 30s that were influences on Sun Ra, or Sun Ra did arrangements for, or he played on. So there is some Sun Ra music on here, but most of it's other stuff. But that's probably not that easy to get your hands on, but there'll probably still be some copies around. Live at the Horseshoe Tavern. So this is 10 CDs of live music from Sun Ra's orchestra in 1978 Toronto, and this is copy number 179. So this is a limited edition. So these CDs are sort of in a little plastic folder box, so they're just in the sleeve. So it, as you can see, they just flip over like that. Looking at the discs themselves, they look sort of almost homemade, so they may be actually CD-ROMs. This label's kind of, I mean, they are doing this officially, I understand, and with Michael Anderson at the helm of a lot of these. He's supplying the tapes and stuff for them. So but I haven't actually listened to a lot of this one, to be honest, yet. But this one here, this monster here, this is Sun Ra and the Omniverse Jet Set Orchestra, the Detroit Jazz Center residency from the December 26, 1980 to the 1st of January 1981. So it's 26 hours and 13 minutes on 28 CDs. So pretty much the whole lot that was covered and recorded. Again, it's the same thing. It's got a just a printed, folded out list of the track list. This CD set, I'm not sure. This is a second edition, to be honest. I got a feeling they sold out and then they redid it. But actually, this looks more professional with the CD printing on the covers there. So 28 CDs. Now, this is actually quite a good set of CDs in that the quality sound-wise is actually reasonably good. It's better than bootleg, which some of the transparencies are really, really bad quality. I can't even listen to them. But I pretty much got all of them now. But this one here is fairly good, and it covers. By this stage, when they were doing their concerts, they were covering their whole era of music that they had played right from the 50s. So there's big band swing stuff, then the more avant-garde and the percussion stuff, and that. So this covers a pretty big range of music of Sun Ra's music, and that he was playing at the time. So yeah, very cool set. Cost me an arm and a leg to get it in the country because I bought a whole bunch of them at once, and then I had to pay taxes on them all and the postage. So yeah, probably quite possibly the only copy in New Zealand, to be honest. So yeah, that's just some of them. I do have quite a lot of other box sets that I've collected over the years that are fairly common. I got like the Black Sabbath set of boxes and sets of albums by groups, like Bruce Springsteen, all of his records up until Born in the USA in a box set and stuff like that. The Jam, lots of stuff over there actually, and yeah, quite a lot of compilations, box set of Stevie Ray Vaughan. So yeah, bits and pieces like that. But those are some of my more rarer and unusual ones, and yeah, that's enough for me for now. So we'll see you again. Thank you.